What's up, everybody? Thanks for checking us on out. Much appreciated. So Tyreek Hill, this dude's got pre-goosies, dude. He is like looking forward to his debut at Hard Rock Stadium. Told reporters on Monday, something to the effect of, he says, I feel great. My talents are going to be on display. I don't want to waste this opportunity. Very excited. Family's excited, and I cannot wait to score my first touchdown. He is looking forward to getting out there at Hard Rock Stadium and being in front of the home crowd, which was so excited to see him in action that first preseason game. Him and Tua connecting for a 50-yard plus bomb, and everybody got excited. Look, I put my onions on the table. I was told I was a fool for this, but we have ourselves a radio fantasy draft going on this weekend. I had the 6th overall pick. Took Tyreek Hill, first round. People called me crazy. They looked at me cross-eyed. I went with an all-petty team, by the way. I went with a team that was basically factored on revenge. I like that. I like to have a rooting interest with guys who have a rooting interest in themselves, proving other people wrong. That's why I went with Tyreek Hill. I love what he's been saying in this offseason. I love everything that he's been about. Since he's come to the Miami Dolphins, he has been through and through the best Miami Dolphins hype man. He has been hyping Tua Tagovailoa. He has been hyping Mike McDaniel. He has put Mike McDaniel as his Twitter avatar. He has been all over the place. He has been hyping up Jalen Waddle. Everybody, Mike Gesicki, he's saying he's going to be the next Travis Kelce. Everything that Tyreek Hill can do. And people have laughed at him at every turn. They've said he's a fool. They said he's just doing this because he's bitter. They're saying he doesn't believe what he's saying. Oh, first of all, doesn't even make sense when people talk about this as an idea of, oh, you're doing this just because. You're doing this just because this is a new team. You want this to work out so well. Doesn't make sense. Here's why. You would do this in the situation of, I have to impress a place and I want them to know that I want to be here for a long time. Tyreek Hill's going to be here for a long time. Right or wrong, everybody's sitting here and they think, oh, this is going to work out to be a disaster. If Jalen Waddle gets more passes, all that type of stuff. No, I don't believe so. His money is in the bag, dude. He has gotten that bag. He is set. I don't think he is going to be like that, even if Jalen Waddle does pass him eventually during his Dolphins career. I don't think that's going to happen this year because I think people are underestimating how damn good Tyreek Hill is or forgetting how good Tyreek Hill is, and for some reason thinking that he's a product of Patrick Mahomes and not Patrick Mahomes being a product of him. Not saying Patrick Mahomes isn't great, but let's not act like you could just find Tyreek Hills anywhere. All right, the guy is absolutely amazing. He is absolutely dynamic. And to hear the mockery of this group of national football pundits speak of Tyreek Hill the way they have, with all the accomplishments this man has had in the game, and to treat him as if he is not worthy of saying what he's been saying this offseason, disappoints me and upsets me. And this is not a person who has rooted for Tyreek Hill very long. He just got down here, but he's been all about the Miami Dolphins through and through since the trade has come through and happened. And I just don't think – I think it's a weird thing. I remember asking him about this. Like, don't you think it's a weird thing that people are just basically getting on you for supporting your teammates? And he's like, listen, people just take stuff and they'll just run with it, dude. They will run with it. And that's what they're doing. In fact, but here's the thing. The Dolphins are going to take it, and they're just going to run with it past everybody, and especially him, because he's faster than anybody in the damn league. He's unbelievably explosive. And what he's going to do for Tua is going to be remarkable. So I can't wait to see it. I think we all can't wait to see it in action. He was mentioning today about Bill Belichick, maybe having he said, quote, Coach Belichick, obviously one of the greatest coaches we have. He says, the way he thinks is next level. I would be honored to single out. I just feel like when we play them, there are some plays where I do get doubled like I was when I was on the Chiefs, but who knows? I don't know what to expect going on to a new team, different system. Who knows what to expect? But I'm sure Belichick has something up his sleeve, but I feel our coach has one up his too. That's right. Mystic Mac. Mystic McCoachin. Getting it going. All of that stuff. Man, I am hyped for this first game, man. It is going to be fun. Great first matchup that's coming up with that one. I was not surprised when I heard this, but disappointed that you have these yahoos in the Boston media who were ripping Mike McDaniel, essentially. And these are from NBC Boston. NBC Sports Boston. These jackals go by the name of Phil Perry and Tom Curran. I've heard of Tom Curran before. I feel like he's done a lot of the Deflategate stuff. I don't know Phil Perry, but this is them on their little Boston show, Behind Enemy Lines, and they were ripping the idea that Mike McDaniel's too jokey joke, that he thinks that he's too funny, he's too silly, that it's going to be too dramatic a turnaround from Brian Flores. The first guy on here is Perry, and then they go to Tom Curran.
My question, though, is, Tom, is this going from Bill Parcells to Pete Carroll? Did they swing too far in the opposite direction?
Got to go with like an old school Patriots reference. Thank for that.
Just to get people to feel good about themselves, because I think there is something to that, especially with today's athlete and how they respond and how they perform well. But I think there's also a component of leadership where, you don't necessarily have to be treating every podium session like it's open mic night at the comedy club. And I think that's what I felt is.
I don't like this fun that they're having down there in Miami, Tom. You think every night's a night at the Improv? No, what will be a night in the Improv, though, is when the Patriots get to spend a wild, Thursday night out after practicing and probably go to the Palm Beach Improv, which, by the way, shout out to them. They great facility. I love going there. Unpaid advertisement. I'm just saying I have a lot of fun when I check out the old Palm Beach Improv. Big fan of the city place. But the thing that's funny about it is it's like, whoa, you think that you're just swinging a little too far? Well, here, Phil, if I may, I think you probably do when the entire problem and component of the last coach was he had no patience and no time for the guy that they have at quarterback. And he was throwing him under the bus publicly, privately, didn't believe in him publicly, privately. And so if you're going to go in this direction, I would say, yeah, you probably do want to take a big time swing the other way. The other thing that's weird about it is, what are they replacing? I mean, they're replacing some pieces on some explosive pieces on offense and finally tuning a lot of pieces on offense that are all new with Mike McDaniel. And then the ones that aren't new are very, very young. They've had 1 year of Brian Flores. And then on the defensive side, everything stayed the same. They have the same defensive staff and all that. So maybe there are some people who have great loyalty to Brian Flores. We've seen certain players come out and act like this. They did like playing for Brian Flores. But it's not like they're going to get play calls from Mike McDaniel. So unless it's a complete zoo in the locker room, I don't know. But this is like typical. Like, what do you expect of a bunch of reporters who got to basically talk to a rock 4 times a week? Well, we're going to do what's best for the Patriots and football,
Coming from Miami right now.
And I think what we have to bear in mind, too, you see Wes Welker cruising around there as an assistant coach. So much will fall to the assistant coaches as well to really prop up Mike McDaniel in his first year there. Because, look, I think a lot of things matter. When the NFL, when it hires referees who are tall, imposing, oftentimes muscular. It matters how you look as an authority figure. I'm telling you, it's true. Look it up.
What am I looking up there? Like, I want to know from Tom Curran's perspective, what exactly am I looking up? Am I looking up the body fat ratio of the most successful head coaches? Because I got to say, Bill Belichick, if you guys have seen the recent video of him in Las Vegas where Dana White gives him the UFC championship, his moves are on point. I mean, they're not he's not the most physically imposing person in the world. What's imposing about Bill Belichick is his greatness, his accomplishments. But do you look at Bill Belichick and say that's an intimidating, imposing figure? I would say no. I would say, like, if I met Bill Belichick in a back alley, I don't know if I'm wetting my pants. Then you look around the league and you say, okay, is Sean McVay? Because why? Because he has a boyish smile. Like, the guy's like 5'5". Is he intimidating? Genius. Andy Reid looks like the Kool-Aid man. Is he intimidating? Like, what does this mean? And then, Dan Campbell, is Dan Campbell's muscles, are they going to win the Detroit Lions any extra games? Why? Because he could do a few extra up downs. Was Vance Joseph a good coach? Dude was jacked to the gills. Brian Flores in tremendous shape. A lot of players didn't respect him and didn't like the way he went about his business. And then a lot of coaches didn't either. So I just think that that's a silly thing where they're just like, what can we pick on here with Mike McDaniel? He's having a little too much fun for old nerd boy over here with his Poindexter glasses. What do you expect, though, from Boston, right?
Mike McDaniel is the size of Mike Reese. I love Mike Reese. I would follow him into a fire. Is Mike McDaniel going to get that same loyalty? He needs his assistant coaches to be able to translate his message, and Mike McDaniel himself
needs to use Wes Welker as a bouncer. Intimidating 5'8" Wes Welker needs to use him as a bouncer so people will listen. Please. It's like he pictures him calling Wes Welker into his office. Wes, they won't listen to me. Please get the message across. Meanwhile, Wes Welker's out here listening to him, to his boss. Idiots.
Is going to need to be a little Napoleon when he has to be and bring the hammer down. Because as we've seen, and I've had this theory for a long time, Michael Giardi, South Florida is a hard place to maintain the focus of players because there's an awful lot going on.
Yeah, there's an awful lot going on. And in fact, it's such a hard place to maintain factors. Your genius head coach up there has thought to himself, I'm going to go down there early. You know what? I'm going to go down there early. Now, listen, West Palm is not Miami or is not even Broward, I would say. But nonetheless, there is a nightlife. There is a nightlife, and there are places to go hang out. And I think it's hilarious that they're like, oh, you got to keep these guys in line and focus. And it's like, meanwhile, everybody here is probably used to it. Everybody here's got it probably out of their system already, living in paradise and all that type of stuff. And he's sitting here worried. It's like, you're going to be worried about somebody. You probably should go to the people who aren't used to it, all right? You might have Mac Jones out there in a bubble room somewhere. Wild, but yet not surprising from, those carnival barkers up there in Beantown. But I can't wait, dude. It's going to be a fun week 1.